Another day, another sub. Day 5, and let's see what we have in store today. I was apparently told that the folding of all the papers has been making quite a lot of disturbance. I apologize for all the noise caused by this. Oh my. Today they haven't mentioned which sub is which. Kind of a surprise package, I guess. This here is the Chatpata Chana sub, which has gone well with the honey oats with multigrain. So this would be the penultimate sub of all the vegetarian options that are on offer at Subway India. Let's see how this tastes like. As far as sauces go, there's mayo, there's tandoori mayo, and red chili sauce. And perhaps there's BBQ sauce as well, which I didn't opt for, but the staff was being generous. A decent amount of chana has been placed in the sub. Chana as in lentils, there's brown lentils. They do have a quite hard bite to them, perhaps a bit undercooked. I wish that the chana in itself was a lot spicier than it is right now, because without all the spicy sauces that has gone into this sub, I'm really not sure how well this would have tasted. It's a good thing I went spicy with this one. The bread though has a very pleasant aroma to it. The very faint presence of the honey that has gone into the making of this bread, it gives off a very heavenly smell. I could just eat the bread all day long. Needless to say, the honey oats with multigrain bread option is my favorite among all the options out there in Subway India. After much prodding, the staff at Subway India did want to reveal that the Chatpata Chana sub is among the least selling items among all the vegetarian options at Subway India. I can see why. The chana, it was quite cold. I don't know, perhaps it was refrigerated for a long time, or perhaps it isn't made fresh every day. I'm not sure. It was quite cold upon tasting it, and the chana in itself was pretty bland and also quite undercooked. It was quite hard, I must say. Thankfully, with all the spicy sauces that went into this sub, it was bearable. I can now see why the Chatpata Chana sub is their least selling sub. They really need to make some changes to that. I'll be back in a bit. And moving on, we have the Paneer Tikka sub, which apparently is the best selling vegetarian sub among all options that is on offer at Subway India. Let's find out if it's worth the hype. I chose the Parmesan oregano bread to go with this sub, and with respect to the sauces that have been added to this sub, there's mayo, mint mayo, and honey mustard. I am yet to take a bite of the paneer that has gone into this sub, so until then we'll have to wait, because without the paneer in it, it just tastes like any other sub out there. The creamy texture of the mint mayo along with the very soft, cushiony kind of bite that the paneer gives off, that's something in itself. I don't know if it justifies as the best selling vegetarian sub they have on offer at Subway, but it sure is a really good tasting sub. The paneer in itself is really top notch, but the gravy, the seasoning that has gone with it, I'm not sure if it's the best tasting seasoning that could have gone with it. They do seem a bit off. They have a rather bland, mellowish kind of taste to them, and a bit of bitterness even. Perhaps it's the coriander seeds among other spices that have gone with it. It's rather interesting to note that the Parmesan oregano bread has a lot of contrast on it, even when it comes just to the crusty part of the loaf. We can see here that the sides have been well toasted, and there's a lot of oregano spice that has gone on to the making of this loaf. But here in the center there's a rather large plane of, speaking of planes, I guess I'll have to wait this one. I can see that there's a rather large plain surface of bread here. There's no seasoning that has gone into it, and I did eat the other part. It looks like they have been made in an alternate fashion where there's a lot of seasoning that has gone into it, along with an extra shade of toast, and the other parts being not so well toasted, and minus the seasoning as well. Interesting. I wish I noticed this earlier before taking the first bite. Sorry about that, folks. The masala, as in the spices that have gone into the making of this paneer, they do seem a bit off. They have a quite noticeable bitter taste to it, and perhaps it must be the coriander seeds that have gone into the making of the seasoning. Every sub is practically loaded with so many vegetables and a fairly moderate to less amount of stuffing that you can barely taste the crumbly portion of the loaf, and there's a rather thin crust on top, and the crumbly part, it's barely noticeable. Let's see if we can actually find it out. Oh my. It's mostly the crust, and there's not much crumbiness in this loaf. As I move on to the last few bites of this sub, this would be the end of all the options that are on offer at Subway India with regards to the vegetarian options. Again, I guess it's pretty obvious that it's you who decides how the sub goes, because left to themselves, perhaps they won't be the best tasting food that is on offer. It's best that we choose the bread that we want to, and really be nitpicky about the sauces that we would like to go into the subs. For those who are tolerant to spicy sauces, they might want to avoid all the tandoori mayo sauces, the mint mayos, and the red chili sauces, of course. And for a more mellow, pleasant kind of taste, you can always go for the plain vanilla mayo or the honey mustard, chipotle. The BBQ sauce, I am not sure. It has a very tangy, kind of sour and even acidic taste to it. Does feel good upon its first touch when it lands on your tongue, but then later on it gives up a slightly acidic taste to it. But then each to his own. It really comes down to the sauces and the bread that we choose to opt for. What's the most important being the sauces, definitely. The breads, honestly, they all seem quite similar, apart from the Parmesan oregano and the multigrain honey oats. The others have a very similar kind of taste to it. Even the roasted garlic bread, admittedly, it did not have a very what one would expect from them, like a very strong garlicky smell to it, or an aftertaste to that. So it really boils down to all the sauces that you choose to opt for in your serve, and pretty much nothing else. Yeah, and then there's the jalapenos and all other veggies that go with it. The jalapenos always dominate the serve. Every serve, no matter what you choose, vegetarian or non-vegetarian, or regardless of the sauces, the jalapenos, they do make their presence felt in every single serve. And there's also the quite crunchy yet bland and kind of boring taste of the cucumbers that come along with every serve. They're always used generously. I'll finish this serve anyway. And with that, we come to a conclusion with respect to all the vegetarian subs that are on offer at Subway India. Let's see what else is in store for me tomorrow. Until then, see you. Have a great day. Bye.